Hey everybody, this is Dark Side Elite here with a pretty quick video here. I'm trying to make this not very long, but uh, one viewer that I used to watch, his name is Leonard2814. I will link his YouTube station onto my description. He is a pretty insightful character. Um, he has a very unique view on what he wants for DC movies. I agree with a good amount of his points, but firmly disagree on the other, and that's perfectly fine. That's a great level of debate, because everyone's tastes are different, and what they want for certain characters is going to be the same, and others for the different. But this is next to Film Gob. Lantern2814 does very good little quick videos. Um, Pretty much mocking other YouTubers out there. Now, this one that he's talking about is John Campea, who is quite possibly one of the biggest shills in the business. Now, when I saw this pop up on my YouTube, I thought, okay, what the heck is he trying to pull this time around? But I have not looked at it. This is my first time gonna look at it. I will probably chuckle or laugh in the middle of it. I'm sorry if it's gonna disturb you, but it's quite possibly one of the funniest things I'm thinking he's gonna be doing. Next to the Robert Storms, which I will not put up there. You have to go to his YouTube to get the full understanding of what's going on. If you don't know who Robert Storms is, he is quite possibly he is quite possibly one of the dumbest shills out there. This guy will jump on any bandwagon as long as it gets him clicks. Now, some of us on here, like myself and even Lantern2814, we're just sharing our own opinions. And one of the things for me is, if you like it, great. If you don't like it, that's great too. But I don't want to bring out negativity towards any of the Snyder Cut movement or any other movies, because I might not like it, but if you like it, that's great. But give me a good understanding of why you like it, so I can understand what's going on here. But certain things just don't add up to me, and that's perfectly fine too. Movies is art, and not everyone's gonna share the same opinion about art. So what I'm gonna do here is um, I'm gonna start this up, and then we're gonna view it, and hopefully you guys can um, see what's going to be happening. Now, I'm sorry that my OBS is in the view, but this will disappear after I get this started. All right, so let's get started, and let's see what Lantern2814 is talking about here.
So, before we get into any of our main topics, though, we got a few things to talk about right off the top. And we're going to start with this. And hopefully, this will be the last time ever that we talk about the Snyder Cut.
Okay, now I don't want to completely uh, insult John Campea. This guy has been doing blogs, and he had his own show on Complex with Collider and AMC Talk. Now, this guy made a brand, and I can't insult the man for trying to make a brand, because everyone's trying to make a brand. Everyone's trying to be an entrepreneur themselves, and take advantage of this capitalist system that we have in place. Now, he wants to make money. That's perfectly fine, but when we talk about shills, we mean that people who basically will only talk about the positive things of one company and completely demolish the another company just to get that behind the scenes. And one of the biggest reasons why I believe John Campea is a shill is there's no doubt about it. He can get information if he wants the information. If John Campea does have a lot of sources in the business, just as much as Humberto Gonzalez, maybe even Mark Hughes. Now, some of these people are individuals who are in the scooping business. So John Campea is a scooper. I don't care what he says. I don't care what anybody else says that he says he isn't. He is a scooper. If he goes out and gets information, and he feels that he can probably make money off of it, then yes, he is going to produce it, and he's going to try to make money off of it. That means he's trying to scoop. The other reasonings he could say he's not is he says, oh, I have a lot of other information that he hasn't shared. Like one of the big things he knew a long time ago was that Ben Affleck wasn't coming to come back as Batman, and he said he really didn't want to say anything about that. Now, there's two reasons why he didn't want to do that. One, he didn't want to have falsification of a scoop. He did not want people to look at him and say, "Oh, you lied about this scoop," and now he could be liable for defamatory comments. Two is he could have been told from other people, you can't announce this yet because we're trying to figure out a way behind the scenes to make it gracefully. Now he can stand behind door number two, but knowing John Campea and knowing over the years he's been talking about how great about Marvel and Disney and everything else, without looking at the bigger picture of what Marvel and Disney's been doing this whole time, and not being honest with his audience. No, and what I mean by honest is honest to the point where everyone can get a good understanding of what the situation is. John Campea has been sitting behind the fact that he's a pugnist and that he's not a scooper when he actually is. He's not a reporter. He can report the media if he wants to, but he doesn't want to. He wants to try to sound like he's one of the fans. He's not. He is the personification of what we call tools. He is a tool. He basically he's a bandwagoner also. He talked about how great Man of Steel was. He talked about how good the director I'm sorry, how good the theatrical cut of Batman v Superman is, but how awesome the ultimate cut is. He said, yeah, there were some problems with the movie, just like it was for Man of Steel. Not every movie is perfect. He stood firm behind that, and that's what got me going. Okay, then he seems like he'll be an honest fellow. But when he heard all the newses of all the other shills out there talking bad about Batman v Superman, he did not stand firm and get the audience to listen to him, to say, hey, listen, Batman v Superman is not perfect. It's not a perfect movie. But you also have to realize that there's an arc here. There's a major arc here. There's a major story here. You need to look at the bigger picture. And he never ever said that he's building Superman to become Superman. And there's a reasoning why to that. And we need to see the outcome of it all for us to judge if Zack Snyder did it correctly. Now, he could have said all this and still be on the Marvel bandwagon, and he would have been more respected by a lot of the people in the movement. But he's not, because he talks out of his butt. He shills left and right, and he hides behind his pugnant position, and he can say, well, I'm just voicing my opinion. Yes, you are voicing your opinion, but you're voicing a negative opinion. You're not fighting for the cause. You're trying to be the guy on the barely in the middle, but still on the side of, well, I don't want nothing to do with that because that's not going to make me a lot of money, and I don't want to be scrutinized for standing firm. And it's like, then you are a shill. It is as simple as that. There are plenty of shills on the YouTube that I pretty much completely stay the hell away from. I won't name them. I used to watch them. I completely unsubscribed from them. I don't want nothing to do with them. So, and there are some people even on the Snyder Cut movement that are so radical that I pretty much go, no. That's not how movie making is done, and you're going to pervert and pollute what the Snyder Cut really means. It's not about releasing Zack Snyder's cut. Yes, it is the plot point of our story, but the whole main reason is we want to protect the director's integrity, their vision, not just Zack's, but Chris Sandberg's and James Wan and Patty Jenkins, who also stand behind Zack Snyder's movies. They loved him because they knew what he was trying to do, but all these other directors like Matt Reeves and Kathy Yan, they're coming in. We don't know how they stand with Zack Snyder. They may go say, well, it was cool, but I just didn't like it. And
does it depress?
Sorry about that. But we'll see. But let's see and what John KP has to say, and let's see what Lantern 2814 has to say.
To you, Commissioner, to know just how alone you really are.
The debate rages on amongst people about whether or not a Snyder Cut exists. Some people absolutely insisting it does exist. Some people like me have been telling you guys like Snyder shot stuff and put rough edits together, and if you're calling that a cut, sure, that exists.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
Okay, if you want to know what this scene is about, I believe this is the scene where we got Osama bin Laden. This was the C-SPAN news coverage of, I believe, when we got Osama bin Laden, and so we were telling the world and everyone was cheering about it. Now, this whole situation, what he was trying to cut together is that John was putting a foot in his mouth. He completely put his foot in his mouth. He said that some people believe that the Snyder Cut exists, and some people don't, like himself, don't believe it exists. But if you want to say that Zack Snyder cut something and put some shots, some scenes together, and call that a cut, then well, yeah, then there maybe is a cut. Well, that's what we're saying. That's exactly what we're saying. It seems to me that John Campea does not know how to talk about this cut. He should never have made this. He should have never have said anything. He should have just left it the hell alone, because if he's going to say this, that's exactly what we're saying. That's exactly what John Aaron Garza, all the way down to Lantern 2814. Chris Wong even said it. Zack Snyder did film 99% of the movie, the storyboards that basically they constructed. That is a fact. Jay Oliva, the storyboardist who did it, said, yeah, that's what he filmed. The only thing that he needs to do is he needs to get need to edit it together. He needs to put the score together, and also he needs to put the visual effects. We all know this because there was told at Kevin Smith's podcast, when they were talking about the stuff that was missing from the movie. One lady straight up came out and said, yeah, we at the very end we saw Darkseid, which shocked both Kevin Smith and his partner Mark whatever his name is. They were like, what? We could have saw Darkseid? Yeah, he had Darkseid in the film. He wanted to show Darkseid. You cannot have a movie about the mother boxes and Steppenwolf and don't even hit to Darkseid. There's no way. And Zack Snyder's not that. And Zack Snyder is not a stupid storyteller. He knows exactly what to put in a movie and knows what to hint. So if he's gonna do the New Gods and Steppenwolf and the mother boxes, he's gonna introduce Darkseid. So John Campea here has been just exposed that he doesn't know the hell he's talking about, and two, he's saying that, well, there's no such thing as a Snyder Cut. But if you want to call what he, the film, the shots that he filmed and put that together a cut, then well, yeah, that's exactly what a cut is. He said, I cut a lot of the movies. Also, every director makes 4, maybe 5 different cuts of films. He should know this. He's in this business, so he's not stupid. He's just talking out of his butt because he wants to try to show his narrative that, no, this cut does not exist. Give it up. Let it go. Can we just move on? Well, why don't you move on and let us fight the good fight, and let us do what we have to do to get this cut released, so then we can actually show to you that this cut does exist and that you have been talking out of your butt for the past year and a half, and you sure as hell do not know what the heck you're talking about when it comes to filmmaking.
What does not exist is a completed, with all audio, visual, post-production, music scoring, all that. There is not a completed version of the Snyder Cut. That does not exist.
Well, no, duh. And I think even if he was going to do a live reaction and do what I'm doing here, he would say, no, duh. Every person, I'm not going to say every person, there is probably 90% of the Snyder Cut movement people that know this. they know that it's not 100% completed. Because if it was 100% completed, that would be bigger news. Zach would know this. Zach would know that they completed that movie. And also, they can't complete it without letting him know it. That's against the law. That's massively against his rights as a director. Because if they basically took a completed cut of the movie, completely cut all of his information out of it, all of his story, and put in and let Joss Whedon do what he wanted with his cut, and then slapped his name on it, that entails to him that he could sue them. He could sue them for infringing his rights as a director. WB will be even worse trouble. So already he's basically telling you that if you came along and built a house, you were told to build a house, and then the people that basically you sold the house to came in and said no, and took out all the stuff that you already pre-told them. They pre-told you, this is what I want, this is what I want, this is what I want, and you built it exactly how they wanted it. And then they come along and completely gut the house and change it completely. You go, wait a minute, what the heck? You guys basically said it was okay. So that's what I'm talking about. I'm not saying that that he could sue them or the person can sue them, but I'm saying it comes in that type of direction. If both parties agreed that this is the type of movie we're going to create the movie 100% completed, and then all of a sudden you change the score. You change the whole direction of the characters. You change the whole symbiosis of the movie. Because what I mean by symbiosis is when a movie's completed, that means it has a beginning, a middle, and an end. So basically, if you come in and take out a chunk of the beginning, switch stuff around, you're changing the whole symbiosis of the movie. You're changing the whole myriad of the story and changing the narrative of the story. So it's not the same story. So if we were told that Superman was not supposed to be in that movie all the way up until the very towards about 80% of the movie, and he's supposed to just come in, then holy crap, then that means what the heck? Then by the time we get to in the Justice League, Superman's already being resurrected about halfway into the movie. When that's not what the heck happened. They're saying that we see them resurrect him towards the beginning of the movie, and he's not even in the rest of the movie. He comes in at the very last portion of the movie because he's dealing with his own personal stuff. But they changed the whole narrative so completely, and they completely took out that Darkseid was a part of it. So we're not seeing the overall scope of the story that is meant to be told. We were told that that Flash was the majority of the film because we're going back in time and dealing with the Nightmare universe. The Nightmare timeline. We're dealing with them. We're seeing what the ramifications of Darkseid killing Lois and Superman falling to the anti-life equation. He's ruling the world and this and that. We're not getting all that because that's probably a good chunk of the whole movie that we're missing. So again, John Campea is he should have honestly stayed the hell away from this and just let it go. Because he has so much other content to talk about. He just wanted to do this Snyder Cut thing because he wanted to have a good chuckle and try to misuse words. But his misuse of words actually are now going to bite him in the butt because everything that he's talking about, we already know. We already know that there's not a completed cut. We know what a cut means. A cut means that it's a sequential order of events that are happening incontestable. So basically, if there's a beginning, a middle, and end of a movie, but there's still certain things that need to be changed, that means the cut exists. So we have to see, and we're going to move forward here.
No, we haven't actually seen it, Tom. We're just reporting it.
Yes, there is an edit that Snyder put together. I believe that exists. But a finished, completed version that's just Warner Brothers just needs to release, that does not exist. Okay, that doesn't exist. I've been saying that forever. Well, Kevin Smith has now come out, of course, who is very connected with the DC universe and all things involved there.
I've not seen it firsthand, and also to be clear, like I know Zach, but I'm not like, it's not like we're fucking tight, son. You know what I'm saying? Like I've only been in a room with him maybe like 3 or 4 times. Very nice guy.
Kevin Smith was being interviewed, and he actually spoke to that whole Snyder Cut issue, and he basically said what a lot of us have already known, and hopefully what he says here puts this whole damn thing to rest. And we can all get on the same page. Kevin Smith said the following. He said, I've spoken now to enough people at various levels in that production, of course, the Justice League production. There is a Snyder Cut, for sure.
I've not seen it firsthand.
That's not a mythical beast. It exists. Now, it's not a finished movie, though, by any stretch of the imagination.
I've not seen it firsthand.
Yeah, so it's just showing that John Campea is picking and choosing whatever the heck he needs to say to get his narrative across, and we're seeing this a lot throughout a lot of media. They want to share their narrative of the story, and again, he's doing exactly what a lot of us knew that he was going to do. He's basically telling us stuff we already know. We know that the movie is not finished. That will be against that director's rights. The production company does own the characters, but the director has a right to that movie. And if they come in without telling him and change his whole finished cut for their movie, he could sue them. He can sue them because the movie is done. So whatever the heck John Campea is saying is a complete lie, because first of all, he should know this. I'm not saying that he's stupid. I'm not saying anything of the sort. I'm saying is he's twisting the story to hammer to you that there's no completed cut. Well, we know that because if there was a completed cut, they would have to release it. And if they don't release it and they cut up his movie and then put his name on it without him knowing that, then he could sue them. Because if they did that and he said, no, I didn't see the movie, his wife saw the movie. His wife saw the movie. And if they did that, and they're the production company, they're the production company, not the distributor, because that's WB. If they were the production company and they came in and completely cut up his movie and slapped his name on it, and that's what they did, but it wasn't done. If it was a finished product and they did that and they slapped his name on it and they never told him, never told his wife, and just slapped that out there and threw that out there, they can sue. They can sue them into an oblivion. WB would be in worse shape than it is now because they would be sitting there through a lot of legalities. This whole thing, I'm even gonna look around and I'm gonna find the Richard Donner Zack Snyder comparison of what happened between both Richard Donner with Superman 2 and Zack Snyder here on Justice League from Comic Movie Marks, and these guys did a lot of research. You can look in. I will put that movie down. I will put that down here on my description, so you guys can watch this too, because this is something that you really need to know. Pass this off to your friends. If you guys don't care, that's fine. I just want to get the truth out there. We know there's no finished cut of the movie. A lot of us in this movement know that the movie is not done, because we know that the movie was done and they cut up his movie, and Zack Snyder did not know this. He can sue them. Heck, when we got more confirmation from people saying that the cut exists, I believe John Aaron Garza on DC Film Hub even said that if the movie was done and they cut up his movie and slapped his name on it and they never told him, he could sue them blind. He could sue them blind into an oblivion. Yes, he could divorce himself away from this whole situation and he'd go off on his own. But if they did that to him, he can sue them. So can his wife. Everybody could sue Warner Brothers into the ground because they took that movie and basically, quite possibly, we don't know how much money was on the table if they just released Zack Snyder's cut of the movie. We don't know. Because we know that we can hypothesize, because we know that the ultimate cut garnered more people to go, wait a minute, this was the original cut of the movie, and then there was more that he put in there, but he cut it back to 3 hours because he felt that it would have bogged the movie down. Holy crap. So What would have happened if the Snyder Cut got released? It would have been so much egg on their faces that if this movie would have made another $200 million, probably another $250 million, that on top of what they already made, I think around 600 and I'll say on an even, I don't have it in front of me, but I think around 660. I'll say 660. If that movie made 660 plus another quarter, let's say 200,000, just to lowball it, that's $860. That would have made enough, as much as the theatrical cut of Batman v Superman. That would have made that would have actually ensured to a lot of people that Zack Snyder did do a damn good movie. And that's not talking about the DVD, the Blu-ray sales. Now we know that the Blu-ray sales broke records for BVS Ultimate Cut. People were like buying that movie left and right. It broke numbers, and it stayed number one for months. So imagine if Snyder's Cut came out, that movie would have broke records. It probably would break Endgame's record. People would have garnered to that movie. Now again, there's people here in America, and there's a good amount overseas that are talking about this cut, but that's the vocal minority. How about the silent majority? How about the people that are not talking about it, but they want to see it, but they feel that they don't want to be a part of it? That's also a figure that has to be put into this, and they're not talking about it. Not John Campea, not Kevin Smith, and even a few of us here at the movement, because we're trying to fight hard to get to the people, that the uninformed people, so they know that this cut does exist, and are you interested, and get a lot of the vocal out. So again, let's move forward and let's see what he tries to twist here.
Things that went away from the story that they shot and didn't wind up going into visual effects or anything like that. The one I've heard everyone speak of was never a finished film.
I've not seen it firsthand.
It was a movie that people in production could watch and fill in the blanks. It was certainly not meant for mass consumption. Now, this, of course, is exactly what I've been saying forever that exists. You know, we talked about the apples and watermelons examples here.
That's some kind of Eastern thing?
You know, people would say it could be a matter of semantics, but I would say yes. Snyder shot stuff and edited together cuts of that raw footage, but a completed version doesn't exist. So I believe the apples are in the bag.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Okay, yeah, what the hell is he talking about? What the heck is he talking about? Again, and I hate to beat a dead horse on this, but it shows he doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. He basically, here is exactly how, if you really look at John Campea, he believes you're idiots. He believes that the audience are idiots, and they're going to believe that, oh, this is a completed cut. That's what this whole movement's about. No, he doesn't know what this movement about, and he's changing the narrative. So basically, this movement can go further and further into obscurity, and then he could sit there and on his pulpit and say, well, see, that's what it is, and there was no such thing as a Snyder Cut. Well, how would you know that if you never fought for it? He knows this, and he's not an idiot. He knows how much evidence is out there. He knows that Jay Olivia talked about it, and this is the guy who made the storyboards. You can't say that, there is no cut. It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist if the storyboard artist says, no, I made the storyboards for this movie, not for that movie, and I was there when Zach showed me all the footage. So he was there when he did all the filming. So you're telling me that Jay Olivia doesn't know what the hell he's talking about? The guy who was on the set? You had visual effect artists. You had cinematographers who were saying, no, Zach filmed almost a complete cut. So they're basically saying it's a complete cut of a storyboard, of the storyboards. There's a lot of innuendos when it comes down to if it's completed or if it's not, and John Campea is trying to hammer home that it's not a completed cut. It's not something that's for mass consumption. Well, duh, we all know that. So, I mean, Kevin Smith even said that, but he's also illustrating that Kevin Smith has not seen the cut. He hasn't seen anything. He's just getting bits and pieces from other people, but he's also saying that the cut does exist. It's just not completed. It's not made for mass consumption. There's stuff they still got to do with it. And we all know that because they're not going to invest. They're not going to make a completed movie and then butcher the movie into a 2-hour movie if it's over 3 hours, and then butcher it down to under 2 minutes. Under 2 hours, and then put that out for mass consumption. What the heck are you talking about? That makes no sense. It's easier to cut apart a movie than it is to finish the rest of the movie. But if it's done, Zack Snyder can sue them. That's how I feel about it. He could sue them because they're not supposed to do that. They have to go to him and tell him, hey, we got to do this. And they have to get his okay because the movie's done. Especially if they're going to slap his name on it. Come on. So let's see what else he has to say.
Snyder shot something and edited it together. Let's call those apples. Apples are in the bag. What is not in the bag is a watermelon, which is a completed, all post-production, ready to go, and all Warner Brothers has to do is release it. That does not exist.
Exactly.
There are apples in the bag, but there are no watermelons in the bag. And then people yell at me, but John, there are apples in the bag. I know there are apples in the bag. I'm saying there are apples in the bag. I've been saying that this whole time. What I'm saying is there's no fucking watermelon in the bag.
What you just said
Yeah.
is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
Yeah.
So now Kevin Smith comes out, pretty much wraps it all up for us, and I hope that is the final word on this.
Yeah, well, that's just like your opinion, man.
There is stuff Zack Snyder shot. There's stuff Zack Snyder edited together in rough cuts. But completed, finished version that Warner Brothers just need to release, Snyder Cut of the movie, does not exist.
I also know, and I feel confident that the audience could handle that cut of the movie without being like, I think there's a common thought process probably within the studio. And again, no studio had said this to me, but I would assume that they're like, we can't show people this. Yes, there is a Snyder Cut, but no audience would be able to look at this and see what the director's intent was. That being said, I disagree.
You're hearing Kevin Smith's comments at this.
Okay. One of my final thoughts on this, unless something really major comes up. I know I did a video about Kevin Smith and calling him out and everything. I still stand firm behind that. I mean, yeah, this guy, he shills a little bit for certain things. But I also said in there that he is a brilliant filmmaker. He is a director. He should know a lot of this stuff. He should know about character arcs and movie arcs and story arcs. And but he hit the nail here. It's not the fact that he has that insider. It's just him thinking that the studio heads are looking at this movie and going, we can't release this to anybody. The people are going to get confused. What the heck is that all about? But I also, me personally, I do believe that we as an audience can actually abstract a good amount of the information from the movie, even without that much CGI, to see what the intent of the story is. Because a lot of us just want to know about the story. Myself, I can get, it depends on how bad the CGI is, but if the story is captivating, I can actually be perfectly fine with it. That's me. I can see other people who can't look at that and go, I don't know what the heck is going on. I go, that's because most people are more visual consumptionists. They actually can look at the visuals and say, okay, I can see what the intent is in this. So that's the whole point of it. But I think that a good mass amount of people will understand, especially if they're story people, and to see what Zack Snyder was trying to say about this movie and be perfectly fine with it. But if they were to make a lot more money, they have to make it for more mass consumption, for more of the bigger mass. So we got John Campea here on the left, and on the right is Robert Meyer Burnett. Now, when John Schnepp died, these two went at it on Collider about who was the biggest friend for John Schnepp, and just kind of making it more toxic. Now, Robert Meyer Burnett, both these guys loved Man of Steel. They both really liked BVS, The Ultimate Cut, and they both talked the same thing about Justice League. Now, Meyer Burnett, he's also a creative guy. He makes stuff. He not in the same league as Zack Snyder, mind you, but he makes a lot of stuff. I'm not gonna take that away from him. I'm not gonna dismiss him on that. So it's same thing. He's in the same vein as Kevin Smith. So I have not heard from Robert Meyer Burnett about this whole situation because I believe John Campea is a toxic shill, and from the stuff that you already had from the very beginning, you can kind of get the gist of that he's just beating a dead horse that we already know, and he's reiterating stuff that we already agree with him. I agree with him that no, there is not a 100% cut, but there is a cut, and that's what we want to see. That's what we want to see. A lot of us are not talking about, I want to see 100% completed cut. You have idiots out there that do want to see the 100% cut, or they believe the movie is completed. They're just hiding it. No, I said it before and I say it again. If there was a completed movie and literally they took that movie and completely butchered it, Zack Snyder could sue them. He could sue WB for doing that and slapping his name on it. That's like you asking for a cheeseburger and you're getting pretty much a turkey burger. You're like, wait a minute, I want a hamburger. I want a cheeseburger with cow. I don't want a turkey burger. And it's like, what the heck? And you're paying a bigger price, and it's smaller than the hamburger. So it's like, what the? No. So let's hear what this has to say. Unless something bigger comes up, I won't pause it again.
Point. What do you make of his comments? Does it shed actually any new light on things for you, or where do you think things are at right now?
No, it's exactly what I've been telling people too. Look, the people that think that a Snyder Cut exists are just woefully ignorant to how movie productions work.
Oh, you gotta be fucking kidding me.
But it's all green screen. There's no backgrounds. Nothing's been comped in. There's no sound effects. There's no Foley. There's no music. What there is millions of dollars of work still to be done in that fight scene. The Snyder Cut is a movie that's basically all unfinished scenes.
Oh, God. Okay, I'm not going to pause it. Yeah, these are all what literally came from the movie. And also, it came from the trailers, too.
It's never finished.
Yeah.
It's never finished. It's never finished. It was never finished.
Yep.
So I guess ultimately here, guys, I'm hoping this puts that to rest and gives us all the shared understanding. There are apples in the bag, but there is no watermelon, and they are two very different things. There is a rough cut of this thing, that assembly cut, several cuts, as Zack Snyder said. He's got several cuts of the movie, but none of them are actually done and just sitting there waiting for Warner Brothers to pull the trigger and release it. So hopefully that settles that and we can all move on with our lives. Anyway.
Is that what you think? I'll tell you what I think. It doesn't matter what you think.
But they could. But
millions of dollars.
Issue. Millions of dollars if they want to do it. They could finish it. They could. That's a horse of a different color, and that's a possibility. But as of right now, no such thing exists.
And nor will they.
Jesus Christ, I've met some dumb bastards in my time, but you outdo them all. Get over there!
Okay. 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 Oh boy. Okay. Yeah, it's my fourth time even saying that. Well, I'm gonna make a quick exit to this. I think that I'm sorry if you heard two voices on here. I mean, I'm sorry about all that. I'm trying to figure this all out. But I just want to get this out. I'm sick and tired of the Zach. I'm sick and tired of the cut doesn't exist. The cut doesn't exist. The cut doesn't exist. 100% cut doesn't exist. Well, that's not. We already know that. We already know that. We're not asking for 100% cut. We're asking for a cut of the movie. A cut of the movie. And they're also double talking. And it's just really, to me, it makes no absolute sense. It actually, in my personal opinion, it just makes it worse and worse and worse. And they just keep on blaming this whole misunderstanding about what the movement is and what we're trying to fight for. Because they're hearing it from certain people that 100% cut does exist. And they're like, well, no, 100% cut doesn't exist. 100% cut doesn't exist. But a cut of the movie does exist. And I'm going to go with that. And no, they're trying to label 100% cut with the regular cut. But we do believe it's like stop double talking. 100% does not exist. 100% does not exist. Okay, but we know I will estimate around 95% of the movie exists. So 100% of the story. We got the ADR work, some of the visual effects, but not all of it. And we also don't have a score. Because Tom Holkenberg left before they were able to do anything. And he was already doing things for the movie, but we don't know if those were already added in. So some people say, well, no, it was already in there. No, if those were already in there, Zach would have freaking allowed them to be in there. Okay, Zach was there when the first trailer came out. So when the first trailer came out, that's the stuff that Zach put into the movie. Those are gone. They're out. Okay, there was a scene where Flash is running, and there was a massive explosion. That's not in the movie. There was a scene of, like he just showed, of we saw Victor walking with his Letterman's jacket on, and you see the Gotham University banner up. When it's supposed to be the swastika, but they changed it. They had to change it because they didn't want to get people angry about having the swastika up. It's supposed to be back in World War II. Because there was a lot of stuff in there. So again, I'm gonna link I'm gonna link this on there, and then I'm gonna look for and find the Comic Movie Marks video of the Zack Snyder and Richard Donner. The only reason why I want to do this, so you guys get an understanding of why we're so adamant that we know that there's a cut out there. Because what they did to Zack Snyder is the same that WB did to Richard Donner, which is the guy that both Jeff Johns and Kevin Feige emulated. They're like, Richard Donner's Superman was the greatest Superman story to ever be told, and what that company did is exactly to Zack Snyder is exactly what they did to Richard Donner. They threw him out, they put another person in, and they completely butchered his work. But the thing that's different is Zack Snyder filmed everything. He filmed all of it. However, Richard Donner didn't film all of it. He filmed maybe like 60-70%. They'll illustrate in the movie, but I think about 67% of the movie was filmed. So he didn't film everything that he wanted to do. So like, comment, share, subscribe down below. Let's talk about it. What do you believe in? Do you believe John Campea is right? Do you believe that he's a complete dipstick about this situation? Again, I'm not saying that he's a complete idiot. I'm saying is that he's basically misinforming you with information that makes no sense and stuff that we already know. And I'm telling you, from in this cut, in this movement, we already know there's not 100% cut. We all know this. I know this. I'm saying is I want to see what Zack Snyder filmed. Not 100%, just what he filmed because he didn't finish everything. If he finished everything and they butchered his work, he could sue them. He could completely sue them left and right. So let's be civil, please. Let's be civil. Let's keep it toned down. We all are hyped. Some of us are very upset. Some of us want to move on. Some of us can say you're an idiot. It doesn't exist. I'm saying 100% doesn't exist. I'm saying that the filming of what he did off of storyboards that exists. That was filmed. That's on a film reel. That's on a film reel. He doesn't do digital. He does film reel. Okay, he's always done film reel. And that's done. But the construction, the editing, some of the visual effects, I would say 100% of the visual effects are not done. But that's fine. The filming, 99% of the filming is done, and that was told by Jay Oliva. Sorry. So, comment down below if you guys want to talk about this. I want to talk about this. I want to see what's going on here. And let's see what happens. You guys have a great day. Bye.